October 4, 1957 is considered the beginning of the first space age with the launch of Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite. Although it spanned a couple of decades, it peaked in 1969 with the Apollo moon landings.
We choose to go to the moon.
And slowly died down during the 1970s Cold War due to a decline in funding and a lack of public interest. Then the second space age is considered to have begun in the 1980s, peaking in April 1990 with the launch of a rocket named Pegasus by the private company Orbital Sciences Corporation. This was the first time space age was driven more by businesses than by governments. Hundreds of satellites were deployed into low Earth orbit, and even the International Space Station was constructed during this era. These satellites helped advance TV broadcasting, telephone, and internet services. Also, NASA's Space Shuttle program introduced reusable spacecraft during this time in 1981, finishing its last mission on July 21, 2011. Hence, this time period is also called the Space Shuttle era. And now we are witnessing the birth of the third space age, and there are three reasons for this sudden rise. Making humanity interplanetary. The rising tensions among various nations and an abundance of nuclear weapons at their disposal left the world balanced on a razor's edge. It's an undeniable fact that we are living with a certain risk of nuclear apocalypse, and even a minor disagreement between any two nuclear powers could lead to a massive destruction. Along with it, the recent COVID-19 global pandemic has made people realize the destructive capability of the very nature that enables us to live on Earth. All these reasons have pushed humanity to seek spaces other than Earth that can sustain human life and is suitable for us to thrive in. The technology simply just got better. The idea of reusable rockets is not as new as everyone generally thinks. The concept of reusable launch vehicles first came into practice in the 1970s, and these reusable space vehicles are called space shuttles. The space shuttles were thrust into space with the help of rocket boosters, and these space shuttles detaches from the boosters, delivers the payload, and is later glided down to Earth like an airplane. But when it came to the boosters, they fell into the ocean, which were then recovered from the waters, then refurbished and reused. This made the cost of reusability very high. The recent reusable rockets by SpaceX and Blue Origin adopted the concept of powered descent landing system, where the engines are gradually reignited to make a controlled descent. The most important technology that made this all possible now more than ever is the artificial intelligence that helps navigate, stabilize, and slowly touch down the rockets to a desired landing location with utmost precision, as accurately as it can be caught with the help of two huge metal chopsticks of the Mechazilla that caught the SpaceX's Super Heavy recently. Corporates entered the space sector. The final and the most prominent reason is the entry of private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin in the space technology and exploration sector. This began a new era where private companies started building and launching rockets, unlike the previous practice of space programs conducted by government institutions like NASA. These private companies began securing NASA contracts like resupply missions to the ISS and deploying satellites, delivering payloads including astronauts, and even planning for lunar exploration in the near future. Also, the fierce competition among companies to outdo one another gave birth to new technologies and methods to reduce the necessary budgets, which paved the way for commercial ventures in space that could be affordable in the near future.